All right, let's do this. We're diving deep today, folks, into IPOs, specifically Sagility India Limited.
Sounds exciting.
It is, especially if you're, thinking about getting in on this IPO.
Definitely. It's a big move for them.
So we've got two big documents here.
Oh, yeah.
The draft Red Herring Prospectus
Right.
and the Red Herring Prospectus.
I feel like I should be wearing like a detective hat or something.
Yeah.
Red herring sounds very mysterious.
Well, we're going to try to demystify it.
All right.
And go through all this dense information to pull out the key takeaways.
That's what I like to hear. Less reading for us.
Yes.
More insights.
Exactly. So, these prospectuses, they're not just about the company.
That's right.
They also give us a snapshot of the whole healthcare industry.
Kind of like a little window into what's happening in the bigger picture.
Exactly. So first things first, what does Sagility India Limited actually do?
Okay, so they're big into healthcare, but specifically, they're a major player in healthcare business process outsourcing.
BPO.
EPO, yeah, for sure. Basically, they're the behind the scenes team,
Okay.
keeping the U.S. healthcare system running smoothly.
So they're like the essential workers of healthcare paperwork.
Exactly, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, paperwork, it doesn't sound
very glamorous.
I know.
But it's important.
But I'm sure they're not just, filing things away in some dusty basement.
No. They're working with both payers. Think those big insurance companies.
Right.
And providers, so hospitals, clinics, the whole shebang.
Wow.
And not just any payers and providers. We're talking 5 of the top 10 largest U.S. healthcare payers.
Wow.
Plus one of the largest U.S.-based hospital networks. They've got some serious reach in the industry.
So they're like deeply embedded in the system.
Yeah, they're right in the thick of it.
Okay. So what services do they actually provide? Do they help people pick out insurance plans or something?
No, not quite. For payers, they handle a lot of the nitty-gritty,
Okay.
processing claims, managing memberships, ensuring payment integrity.
That sounds complicated.
It can be, yeah. It's all about making sure the money flows where it's supposed to,
Yeah.
efficiently and accurately.
Okay. So kind of like making sure everything's running smoothly.
Exactly. And get this, they're using AI and fancy algorithms to streamline these processes.
Hold on. AI in healthcare. That's pretty next level.
It is. It's really changing the game.
So are robots replacing insurance agents now?
Well, not replacing, I wouldn't say. More like making things more efficient. Imagine an AI system that can scan medical records and automatically flag potential coding errors.
Okay.
That's what Sagility is doing.
Wow.
They've actually managed to reduce claim processing time by a significant margin and minimize overpayments, potentially saving insurance companies millions.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, they're on the cutting edge for sure.
It sounds like it. Okay, so what about their work with providers?
Mm-hmm.
Do they help hospitals become more efficient too?
Absolutely. They specialize in revenue cycle management.
Okay.
Which is crucial for hospitals and clinics to get paid by insurance companies.
Right.
Think about all the paperwork involved in medical billing, coding, submitting claims, following up on denials. It can be a real headache.
Definitely.
And Sagility helps providers navigate that maze.
So if you've ever dealt with the joys of health insurance, you've probably interacted with a company like Sagility without even realizing it.
Probably, yeah.
They're like the wizards behind the curtain.
I like that.
Of the healthcare system. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the matter here, this IPO. Now, you're already familiar with how IPOs work, but what's unique about this IPO is?
Well, this IPO is a bit different. It's what's called an offer for sale by one of their promoters.
Okay.
Sagility BV. Essentially, they're selling a chunk of their shares to the public.
Okay.
The important thing to remember here is that Sagility India Limited itself isn't actually raising any funds through this IPO.
So it's more about shifting ownership than fueling Sagility India's growth directly.
Exactly.
Interesting. What about the financial nitty-gritty? Any eye-popping numbers in these prospectuses?
Well, we can see their revenue, profits, and growth trajectory all laid out. It's important to remember, of course, that past performance isn't a guarantee of future success.
Rose weight.
But it gives us some context, right?
Yeah.
And they've been on a steady upward climb, which is definitely a positive sign.
Of course, no investment is without risk.
True.
What kind of risks does Sagility acknowledge in these documents?
Well, they're pretty upfront about the challenges they face. Competition is it's fierce.
Yeah.
Especially in a rapidly changing field like healthcare BPO.
Right.
And then there's the ever-changing regulatory landscape of the U.S. healthcare system. Keeping up with all the rules and regulations is it's a full-time job in itself.
Right.
And naturally, data security is paramount when you're dealing with sensitive patient information. They also mention the potential for anti-outsourcing legislation,
Right.
which could significantly impact their business model. It's a globalized world, but not everyone's a fan of it.
Right. And it's important for us to present this information, objectively.
Absolutely.
It's up to you to weigh the risks and decide if this IPO aligns with your investment strategy.
For sure. Informed decisions are the best decisions. And that brings us to a really fascinating part of Sagility's story.
Okay.
Their use of cutting-edge technologies. You won't believe how they're incorporating things like AI and even generative AI into their operations.
Honestly, when I read about Sagility's work with generative AI, I was like blown away.
Oh, yeah.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. It makes you wonder how this kind of technology will transform healthcare as we know it.
For real.
Can you break it down for us? What exactly are these AI tools, and how is Sagility using them in these innovative ways?
So imagine a system that can not only read and understand medical documents, but also extract key information and help with things like medical coding and billing. That's natural language processing, NLP in action. Sagility is using this to automate tasks, boost accuracy, and free up their human employees to focus on more complex issues.
Okay, so it's like giving their human employees a superpowered assistant.
Yeah, exactly. And then generative AI, that takes things even further. That's the tech behind, tools like ChatGPT. It can actually create new content, like text, images, even code.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
What are some specific examples of how Sagility is using generative AI?
Well, they're exploring its use in personalizing patient communication. Imagine getting a letter from your insurance company that's tailored just for you, explaining things in a way you can easily understand. And there's even potential for generative AI to assist with clinical decision making, helping doctors diagnose and treat patients more effectively.
Mind blown.
Right.
It's like the possibilities are endless.
It really feels that way. And speaking of innovation, another detail that caught my eye was Sagility's growth through acquisitions. They recently acquired Devlin Consulting, right?
Yes. What's the story there? Why was that acquisition so important?
Devlin Consulting specializes in payment integrity,
Yeah.
which, as we discussed, is a big part of what Sagility does for payers.
Right.
This acquisition brought in valuable expertise in a technology platform called Contract Central.
Contract Central.
Yeah, which acts as a secondary adjudication engine for claims.
Okay, secondary adjudication engine. That sounds a bit complicated.
A little bit, yeah.
Can you break that down for us, non-techie folks?
Sure. Think of it as a system that double checks insurance claims for errors, kind of like a safety net.
Okay.
To prevent overpayments.
Okay, got it.
It helps ensure that claims are paid accurately, minimizing fraud and waste in the system.
It's like they're constantly leveling up their capabilities.
They are, yeah.
And here's a fascinating fact. Sagility actually has employees with backgrounds in nursing, medical coding, and other healthcare fields.
That's a key differentiator. It means they have real-world healthcare expertise to complement their technological prowess. They understand the nuances of the healthcare system from the inside out.
So it's not just about algorithms and automation. It's about combining that with human experience and insight.
Exactly. The best of both worlds.
What stands out to you about Sagility's approach? And does their use of AI make you more or less likely to invest? Something to ponder as we zoom out and look at Sagility's role in the broader healthcare industry. Ready for the big picture?
Let's do it. The prospectuses highlight some key industry trends, like the increasing demand for healthcare outsourcing.
Okay.
It's becoming a major force in the healthcare landscape.
Why is outsourcing becoming such a big deal in healthcare?
Well, several factors are driving this trend. One of the biggest is the ongoing staffing shortage in the healthcare industry.
Oh, right, yeah.
Hospitals and clinics are they're struggling to find and retain qualified healthcare professionals. It's a tough job market out there.
So it makes sense to bring in experts like Sagility to handle those administrative burdens.
hmm Exactly. It allows payers and providers to focus on their core mission, providing quality care to patients. And then you've got the incredibly complex regulatory environment in the U.S. healthcare system, keeping up with all the rules and regulations. Ugh, it's a major headache for these healthcare organizations.
I bet.
Outsourcing some of these administrative tasks to companies like Sagility can really, really lighten the load.
Makes sense. It frees them up to focus on, patient care instead of drowning in paperwork.
Precisely. And speaking of patients, the prospectuses also mention the growing importance of patient experience. It's not just about providing medical care anymore. It's about the whole patient journey.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that shift. It's like healthcare is finally catching up to the rest of the world in terms of, customer service.
Exactly. Patients are becoming more discerning healthcare consumers.
Right.
They expect personalized experiences, convenient access to care, clear communication from their providers and insurers. They want to be informed and involved in their healthcare decisions.
It's like the Amazon effect is coming to healthcare.
Mhm.
Personalized recommendations, seamless online experiences, the whole 9 yards.
You got it. And this shift toward patient-centric care is driving the adoption of proactive and digital care models like telehealth and remote patient monitoring. It's all about, empowering patients and improving outcomes.
So how do these trends, staffing shortages, regulatory complexities, and the rise of the empowered patient, how do these trends create opportunities for companies like Sagility?
Well, they're perfectly positioned to help healthcare organizations adapt to this changing landscape. Their expertise in claims processing, billing, and patient engagement becomes even more valuable as the industry shifts towards these new models of care. They're also leveraging technology, like AI and NLP, to enhance patient communication and streamline these increasingly complex processes.
It sounds like they're really riding the wave of healthcare innovation.
They are. They are.
But it can't be all smooth sailing, right?
Yep.
What are some of the challenges they face in this evolving landscape?
Of course. Staying ahead of the technology curve is critical. What's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Right.
Sagility needs to constantly innovate and invest in new tools and platforms to remain competitive.
Makes sense.
And then there's the ongoing talent challenge. As the demand for healthcare outsourcing grows, finding and retaining skilled employees becomes even more critical. Sagility needs to be a leader in attracting and developing top talent in this specialized field.
It's fascinating how these big picture trends directly impact the decisions Sagility makes on a daily basis. It really highlights the interconnectedness of things.
Absolutely. And it raises an important question for you. How do you think these trends will shape the future of healthcare?
Yeah.
And what role might a company like Sagility play in that future? It's something to ponder as we wrap up our deep dive into Sagility's world.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
I have.
From the intricacies of their business operations to the broader forces shaping the healthcare industry. Let's take a moment to recap the key takeaways. We've unmasked Sagility, revealing a leading healthcare BPO provider with a deep understanding of the U.S. healthcare system. They're working with some of the biggest names in the industry, leveraging cutting-edge technology to streamline processes and improve outcomes for both payers and providers.
We also explored the unique dynamics of this particular IPO, highlighting that it's an offer for sale by one of Sagility's promoters, not a direct fundraising effort by the company itself.
And perhaps most importantly, we connected Sagility's story to the larger trends transforming healthcare, staffing shortages, regulatory complexities, and the rise of patient consumerism. But we've only scratched the surface. There's a wealth of information in these prospectuses, and we encourage you to dive in yourself if you're hungry for more.
But before we send you off on your own deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought-provoking nugget. Remember how we discussed those potential risks?
Yeah.
Well, the prospectuses specifically mention the possibility of anti-outsourcing legislation.
That's right, and it's a significant concern.
It is.
This brings up some critical questions for you to consider. How might this potential legislation impact Sagility's future? And what does it tell us about the broader debate over globalization in the healthcare industry? These are complex issues with no easy answers, but they're worth grappling with as you evaluate this IPO and the future of healthcare as a whole.
This deep dive has given you a solid foundation, but the learning never stops. Don't stop here.
Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Sagility India Limited. It's a fascinating and honestly kind of tricky landscape to navigate.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, that's what makes these deep dives so interesting, right?
Exactly.
And remember, even with potential hurdles like anti-outsourcing legislation,
Right.
there's a lot to be excited about in the healthcare space. We're seeing incredible advancements in technology, a renewed focus on patient experience, and a growing recognition of the value that companies like Sagility, bring to the table.
It's a dynamic industry for sure,
Right.
ripe with possibilities. So as you continue to explore Sagility and this IPO, remember to keep those bigger trends in mind.
Definitely.
Think about the potential impact of AI and automation, the evolving needs of healthcare consumers, and and those global forces shaping the future of healthcare delivery.
Yeah.
It's a complex puzzle, but with a little digging, you can start to see the pieces fall into place.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe you'll uncover some insights that even we missed. That's the beauty of the deep dive. There's always more to discover.
That's what keeps it interesting. So keep those thinking caps on, stay curious,
Yeah.
and happy investing.
We'll catch you on our next deep dive adventure. Until then, keep exploring.